I have a question for you. What do Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Lamb Weston, Cemex, Procter & Gamble, Estee Lauder, Chevron, CrowdStrike, Match Group, Hewlett-Packard, and many, many others all have in common? Well, actually, they have two things in common. One, they all had record healthy profits over the last year. And two, in the wake of those profits, they all fired people. That's the world we live in right now, where companies make tons and tons of money, and even though they're doing very, very well, and they're making profits, and everybody is, living fat on the farm, smoking cigars and drinking champagne and traveling in private jets and in yachts and, on their own private islands and building bunkers for themselves. Even though all that is true and things are great and business is doing well, in the wake of that, they still decide that, hey, let's fire some people.
Walmart recently announced hundreds of layoffs. But remember that the company has been hiking prices and raking in big profits. Its share price hit a record high in March. The Walton family's net worth ballooned to $267 billion this year. Textbook corporate greed.
Because we just don't have enough money. Because our stock is just not valuable enough. Because we don't have enough for ourselves. Fuck the little people. To hell with them. We'll fire people. The people that remain, well, we'll get some AI to help them out. But, they could do the work of 2 or 3 people. I don't give a shit. They're going to stay because they need the job. The job market is tough. And even though we're going to pile more work on their plates, they're going to stay. So fuck them so long as our stock price goes up and we get richer and richer and richer. Microsoft posted approximately $75 billion in net income. That's $75,000 million. Just so you know, just to kind of get an idea of how much money that is $75,000 million. You a big fan of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg? Well, he's no better. So Facebook Meta reported monumental profits through 21-22, followed by high profitability in recent quarters. But despite this, they laid off 11,000 staff, about 13% in November 2022, and another 10,000 in April 2023, amid continued strong earnings and stock performance. How many packages you have coming to your door this week? Amazon delivered record revenues and profitability, and notably in their AWS division, but they laid off over 14,000 employees in 2025 amid cost cutting while sitting. Did you see that fucking wedding that Bezos had where he's just splashing money around in Venice, California, where, the Oprahs of the world and the fucking Kardashians and all these other douchebags are going to, enjoy the feast while the people are starving in the streets. Do you remember that? Well, Amazon, they laid off 14,000 people while sitting on $100 billion in cash. $100,000 million sitting there in their little, in their piggy bank, basically, in cash, but yet they chose to lay off 14,000, not lay off, they fired 14,000 people. And what about that swell guy, Jamie Dimon, the everybody's nice billionaire guy who runs JP Morgan Chase and always has some beautiful things to say about his employees. He's no better than anybody else. JP Morgan Chase delivered a record $60 billion profit in 2024. $60 billion. That's $60,000 million in profit. And then, of course, they began layoffs in February 25, cutting 1,000 jobs initially with more rounds planned, despite the bank maintaining 14,000 open job postings and continuing growth elsewhere. So, fire people, make more money, let the stock go higher so I can get richer and richer and richer. Let me show you just how disconnected people like Jamie Dimon are from workers, their own workers, and the plight that their workers face, not only when they lose jobs, but even while they're working for the companies, these companies that are making, $60,000 million in pure profit. That's before they hide, a lot of their profits. So I want to show you a clip from this Katie Porter. I believe she left Congress, but she was a congresswoman from California, I believe, and she was a real workers. She was a real advocate for the middle class and the working poor in America. And here's a grill. She gave Jamie. This is about maybe a couple of years ago now, 6 years ago, I guess. She gave Jamie Dimon a real ass whooping when she questioned him here, and it just goes to show you how out of touch these people are from the struggles and the strife that everyday workers face.
She had $2,425 a month. She rents a one-bedroom apartment. She and her daughter sleep together in the same room. In Irvine, California, that average one-bedroom apartment is going to be $1,600. She spends $100 on utilities. Take away the $1,700, and she has net $725. She's like me. She drives a 2008 minivan and has gas. $400 for car expenses and gas. Net $325. The Department of Agriculture says a low-cost food budget, that is ramen noodles, a low food budget is $400. That leaves her $77 in the red. She has a Cricket cell phone, the cheapest cell phone she can get for $40. She's in the red $117 a month. She has after-school childcare because the bank is open during normal business hours. That's $450 a month. That takes her down to negative $567 per month. My question for you, Mr. Dimon, is how should she manage this budget shortfall while she's working full-time at your bank?
I don't know that all your numbers are accurate. That number is generally a starter job.
She is a starting employee. She has a 6-year-old child.
Okay,
This is her first job.
And you can get those jobs out of high school, and she may have my job one day. So
she may, but Mr. Dimon, she doesn't have the ability right now to spend your $31 million.
I'm fully sympathetic.
She's short $567. What would you suggest she do?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Would you recommend that she take out a JP Morgan Chase credit card and run a deficit?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Would you recommend that she overdraft at your bank and be charged overdraft fees?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'd love to call her up and have a conversation about her financial affairs and see if we can be helpful.
Well, I appreciate your desire to be helpful, but what I'd like you to do is provide a way for families to make ends meet so that little kids who are 6 years old living in a one-bedroom apartment with their mother aren't going hungry at night because they're $567 short from feeding themselves, clothing them. We allowed no money for clothing. We allowed no money for school lunches. We allowed no money for field trips, no money for medical, no money for prescription drugs, nothing. And she's short $567 already.
And again, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. We give them more tax breaks every year, more and more tax breaks. Ability to, if they're not tax breaks, there are ways for them to hide their profits, as I just mentioned, so they don't have to pay taxes on their actual earnings. And at the same time, you and I, if you look, I've been laid off, but when you look at your paycheck and you see that, 30-40% of your paycheck, your actual earnings are getting taken out of your pay every week, and you're mad at the government, and you should be mad that so much is coming out of your government. But what you should really be more upset about is the fact that that these billionaires and these corporations, they're not paying their fair share. They are not paying their fair share. We suffer the overwhelming burden of taxes that we're penalized on, while these billionaires walk around, don't pay their fair share of taxes, get super greedy, cutting jobs amidst record profits, and they have no shame. Here's the economic guru from the Patrick Bet David podcast. He's another swell guy, another biz bro who got his start in basically a pyramid multi-level marketing scheme, but suddenly he's this titan of business. But anyway, here is this guy. He's like they turn to him for all questions, to answer all questions about economics on his podcast. And let me just gives you an idea of how these people see things.
Why are layoffs good? I'll make it in one very, very simple thing. You and your wife have had a house that you've had for 20 years. Your 2 children are now graduating college, and you're not sending checks to college, and those kids are no longer home eating. They're no longer on your car insurance. Guess what? You've got extra money each month. for the first time in a long time. That is exactly on a massive scale what happens. When companies lay this off, the market loves it because they say, if you can keep your sales even flat to where you are right now, flat, even if you stop growing a little bit during a recession, it's flat, but your costs are coming down, so you're going to have more profit. It pops the stock price. It moves the market index.
I mean, listen, who doesn't want more? You know, maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Maybe. Let me put on my other. I don't even have my hat. I always have a hat. And today I don't have a hat. I don't know. I just got a haircut. That's why. $30 at the bar. The Russian guy down the street. He's a barber. Drives to Connecticut from Queens, New York every day to cut hair. Hardworking guy. But let me put on my business hat. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. You know, maybe I just need to understand what it's like to be a billionaire and how hard it is.
How is it to become a billionaire?
Oh, it's just euphoric. Like all the burdens of the world just left.
But it's just how brazen it is right now. There was a time when if a company laid off people, it was seen as a bad thing. It was seen as the company's hurting, it's suffering, and the stock would actually go down. Now, he's right. When you lay off people, the stock pops. And don't forget, the wealth of all these billionaires and these multi-millionaires are all tied to stock price. It's all tied to stock price. So popping that stock price is everything. That's all they care about. They don't care about shitty products, shitty service, mistreating workers. They don't care about any of it. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is the stock price. And they will bury America. They don't give a crap so long as that price goes up. And that's the world we live in. And there you have it. That's everything. That's everything. So like, subscribe, comment. I love you guys. I don't love you guys. I just said that. I don't even know why I said that. I like you. I don't love you. I don't know you. But I'll see you next time.